G'day, I'm Adam Gordon, the Profits Leak Detective, and a very warm welcome to this Cash Optimisation Report, a 5-minute interview where we give some immediate and practical tips on how to improve the cash flow and profitability of your business. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and LinkedIn have become household names, and it seems every business is being told they need to be on them to take advantage of the over 1.5 billion registered users on all these sites. But while this is a great opportunity for business, it can be a massive confusion and overwhelm. So today I'm joined by Greg Paul from www.digitaltiger.com.au, and Greg, a very warm welcome to you.
Thanks, Adam.
It's a pleasure having you here. For those of you who don't know Greg, for the last 6 years, Greg has taken knowledge of management and sales and marketing in the real world and developed techniques and strategy to use social media that works. His background includes managing businesses in the real world for over 20 years and consulting businesses on sales and marketing, with results including, and I was pretty impressed by this, Greg's planned the layout of 2 Myer stores in Melbourne. He was the manager of the biggest Gap store in the world in Oxford Street in London. Now Gap, I understand, is a big, like Just Jeans, but very big into jeans and things like that, denims. And he took a consulting firm in Australia from 3 staff to 4 offices in Australia in just 18 months. I think that's a pretty good effort. He specialises in social media, business consulting, recruitment, management training, business development, seminar delivery, and training and development sales. So yeah, it's a pretty good background to be taking into to bring social media into. Greg, so I'm going to ask some questions, and I've said 5 minutes, but answer them as you will.
Okay.
If you're ready. Okay, so number 1, can you please tell us what you consider the 2 main areas of a business to look at when it comes to sales?
Look, the funny thing is, when it comes to sales, the 2 main areas to look at, and most businesses don't actually know that they need to look at these 2 areas, is 1, constantly looking for new clients, constantly looking for new business, and at the same time, constantly working with their existing clients to help them continue with their services and grow. It's funny, I've worked with a lot of clients over the years, and some of them have a lot of attention and do a fantastic job of finding new clients. And some of them do a fantastic job of working with their existing clients, but very often they lose the opportunity where they don't put attention on both at the same time.
Yeah, there's always churn, isn't there? There's always churn. You've got, no matter what you do, you'll lose customers. If we do it well, we'll keep most of those for a long time. If we do it badly, we're constantly seeking new ones. So we've always got to refill the pot, as it were. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do sales actions in these areas differ from each other?
Okay, so when you've got new business, you should just be putting your attention on getting in contact with that client and giving them a taste of your business and exposure to your business. You know, when I find a lot of successful businesses have an introductory product or an introductory service. For example, in our business, we might have an introductory seminar. We might have a review of your social media or a review of your online business marketing. And the next step from there is we would have an establishment package. So it's really important to have a product that is an easy entry into your business that many people can use and get a taste for what you do. When you're looking at your existing clients, at that stage now, you're looking at building a long-term relationship with them. And the reality is, if you work your existing clients well, you should be able to double or triple the sales that your business is making. So I see, if you were not working on new clients and not building that, as you said, there would be a level of churn and burn, and you will find that you'll actually 12 months, 10 years later or 5 years later, you'll be looking at it and you'll have no clients left and wonder what happened to your business. And if you didn't put attention on working with your existing clients as well, you're wasting a lot of opportunity to make sales and grow your business.
It's the old lifetime value of a client saying that the motor industry loves so well. Yeah. The more,
Absolutely.
yeah, you make more money out of existing customers than new customers, because new customers cost money to acquire. But hey, you've got to keep them too, haven't you? Yeah, you've got to look after them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so how would you measure the sales in each area of the business?
Okay, so this is a really key part of knowing the difference between the two. So when you know your new client you're trying to introduce through an introductory product, you're really more interested in the numbers, of clients that you have coming into your business. When you're talking about your existing clients and how you service them, now you've got more attention on how much income your business is producing. Just to give you an example, with that HR business I was talking about, there was at one point our CEO did all the training and all the seminars at that point, and I was just focused on the sales and marketing. And I had a guy working for me here in Sydney, and he went ahead and booked a 5-day training for our business without telling me. What?
Yeah, right.
But the problem it caused is that I had booked a seminar on the morning on the first morning of the 5-day training he booked. And when our CEO is doing both, having a morning seminar in Melbourne and a 5-day training in Sydney is a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
So, and when I spoke to him, he said, which one, the guy in Sydney quite rightly said to me, which one makes more money? And I said, well, it's the way you look at it. Because the truth of the matter is the training in Sydney was going to produce tens of thousands of dollars out of about 7 people. The seminar in Melbourne was actually going to produce about $800 of income out of 50 people. So if you look at it from a new public perspective, the main priority is getting numbers of people introduced to your business. So from a new public perspective, 50 people coming through the door for an introductory seminar is more important than how much they're paying.
I think it was Dan Kennedy who said something along the lines of, amateurs hold a sale to get business, professionals hold a sale to get customers.
Absolutely. It's absolutely true. Yeah. And then from that sales point, from the existing customer point of view, the whole attention should be on how much you're generating in terms of sales. Because at the end of the day, no matter what business you're in, you still need to make money.
You still need to make money.
Absolutely.
Business is what, if you don't have, you go out of.
Exactly.
Okay, another question then. So, why are they both important?
They're both important because if you're not creating new clients, as you said a little bit earlier, over a period of time, your clients will drop off. Or, things happen. You get new competitors. No matter how good your service is, you might get new competitors. The contact that you had changes in that business, and the new contact has trouble dealing with that client. You don't build a relationship quick enough with that client. There might be a pre-existing relationship that causes a problem. Just as an example, I was talking to my mum 2 days ago, and she's had a client since she started her business 20 years ago and been servicing this client really, really well. And they lost the client, and she didn't know why. So she rang up, and in the end, the managing director rang her back and explained who they'd lost the client to, and that the owner of the competitor had gone to school with the owner of the client.
It's hard to beat that.
Exactly. So the managing director got a message from the owner of the business saying, you need to handle this properly because my mum's business had serviced them for 20 years and not destroy that relationship. But however, as long as we're not paying my friend more, we're moving to this person. So that happens all the time. You need to understand that is going to occur. So you need to constantly be developing new clients. Now, when it comes to your existing clients, as I mentioned earlier, you need to make money to stay in business. You can spend all of your effort and all your attention on building new clients, but if you're not making money while you're doing it, you're going to struggle to pay your wages and
Yep.
your rent and everything else. Yeah,
Yes, cash flow. Good old cash flow.
absolutely.
And cash is just so important.
Absolutely.
The number of times over the years I've had clients say to me that I don't understand. The accountant says I'm making money, I'm making profits, but I don't have any cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand it. Okay, so let's get to the social media side of things. How can social media and internet marketing help in each area of sales, each of those two areas you've identified?
Cool. Well, when you come, the first thing we always work with the client, anytime we work with the client, is we work out exactly what it is they're trying to achieve. And when you look at each of those two areas, you're trying to achieve something quite different. So when it comes to new clients, and this is where social media is such a fantastic tool, 8 to 10 million, about over 8 million Australians are looking at Facebook just alone every day. So when you're looking at social media, there's a massive tool to be able to get in touch with new clients, and you can set up things in such a way to drive those new clients to things like your website or a landing page in such a way as to get their contacts and get them invited to seminars or a free consultation or a free review or any of these things that get them in touch with your business. And you can build your mailing list that way, and send them emails, send them letters or whatever you want to send them. So that makes it a great tool for your new business. For your existing business, it's also a great tool to get them a constant communication about your business. We've been working with a client recently, and we haven't even started using advertising on Facebook yet. And one of the things I've noticed quite quickly is the number of people commenting on the posts and the videos is very, very high. And one of the tools, absolutely, and one of the tools that he's using, which is really cool, is we go out every fortnight because these guys deliver fruit and vegetables to hospitality industry in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. And we go out every fortnight and video the specialty buyer talking about what's available at the moment and what's good at the markets. So that's a fantastic way of communicating with his existing clients about what they can buy. And that's why we've noticed so much of communication, because these are the existing clients that we know that are actually talking about and sharing these videos. And, if you're a chef in a big restaurant and there's the specialty buyer saying there's such and such a type of mushroom available or such and such type of a beetroot available, this to you is interesting.
Yep.
So it's about knowing what you're actually trying to create and what you're trying to produce, and then tailoring that message to that particular person.
And that would take a fair degree of skill, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, to know. And that's an issue for the average business owner because they don't have those skills.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, final question then, if I could, Greg. If someone was considering venturing into using social media, what's the first thing you'd suggest they look at?
The very, very first thing I would tell them to look at is what they're actually trying to achieve.
Yep.
So what is the end result they're trying to create by doing that? In fact, I would say no matter what you're doing in your business, always look at what the end result is. Yeah. I talk to guys who do salespeople, for example, who do telemarketing, and sometimes they get into trying to sell on the phone when the product might be one that you can't sell on the phone. And I have to go back and say, look, when you're on the phone, the end result you're going for is an appointment. Don't try and overstep that. Get the appointment and then go and see the guy and then sell to him. So the very, very first thing I would always say is, what is the result you're trying to achieve? Most of the time for us, for our clients, is an inquiry.
Yep.
But we've got, for example, an organisation that we work with whose job it is to get people to know about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So their whole strategy when it comes to social media is get people to watch their public information videos. So when we know that from the beginning, we can actually set up their strategy to get people to watch their videos. It's just so know what you're trying to achieve first.
Just on that example you've used, that versus the fruit and vegetables is obviously an entirely different, requires an entirely different approach. You've got to, that I would imagine took a lot of thought how to make that happen.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Greg, that's really good. I think that's, I was going to say, the term I was going to use was tantalising for people, for my client base anyway, who might look at this, because I'm sure they haven't thought through some of those things you've touched upon. How might people get in touch with you? Where should they go for more information?
Okay, well, I mean, quite simply, they could send me an email. I'd be more than happy to receive that, to greg@digitaltiger.com.au, or they could have a look at our website.
Right.
Yep. And yeah, that'd be the best way is send me an email or look at our website.
Okay, that's wonderful. Greg, look, thank you very much for that. A different perspective for a lot of people. So let's see where it takes us, and I look forward to people's comments. Thanks very much, Greg.
Thanks, Adam.